All right, so we're back for another deep dive, and this time we're all about knees, especially for all you athletes out there.
Yeah,
We're diving deep into a bunch of guides and articles all about exercises to help with knee pain.
you bet.
And, whether you're dealing with a little bit of knee trouble right now or you just want to make sure that you prevent any problems down the road,
Right.
this deep dive is for you.
It is.
Healthy knees, I mean, those are like non-negotiable for any athlete, right?
Absolutely. They're essential. They're the foundation of so much of what you do.
It's true. And they go through so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing when you think about all the different things that can cause knee pain
Right.
for athletes. Like, where do we even begin?
Well, I think just starting off, you got to think about the sheer stress that your knees are under every time you're performing.
Right.
Whether it's jumping, pivoting, even just running,
Yeah.
your knees are handling so much.
It's like they're constantly absorbing impact. Kind of like the suspension system in a car.
Exactly. And, if one part of that system's out of whack, the whole thing can go.
Right. It all falls apart.
Yeah, and that's where we see a lot of these overuse injuries come in.
Okay.
Things like runner's knee for, long distance runners, jumper's knee, and basketball players. Those are classic examples.
So it's like those repetitive motions, they just take their toll over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
But then you've got like those sudden injuries too.
you do.
When someone lands awkwardly or maybe takes a bad hit.
Yep. Those are what we call acute injuries, and those can be pretty serious.
Yeah.
We're talking ACL tears,
Right.
especially in sports like soccer and basketball, where you've got those rapid changes in
But
direction.
you're cutting, you're jumping.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see how those would be devastating.
They can be.
But, it's not always like a big dramatic event, is it?
No, not at all.
Sometimes it's more subtle.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's these muscle imbalances. A lot of athletes, they're super focused on building up those quads,
Right.
but they might neglect their hamstrings and glutes, and that can create some real instability around the knee joint.
So it's all about balance.
Right. Exactly.
Making sure everything is strong and working together.
Absolutely.
So what about this thing I've heard of, this poor biomechanics?
Right. So that basically means your body's not moving the way it ideally should.
Okay, so more than just having like flat feet.
Right. So you've got a runner who overpronates, so their feet roll inwards too much when they land, and that just puts so much strain on the knee.
Oh.
Or a weightlifter with not enough hip mobility that can affect their knee alignment when they're squatting.
Ah, so it can affect a lot of different things.
It can.
So it's like this chain reaction.
It is.
One little misalignment, and then boom, you've got a whole bunch of issues further down the line.
Absolutely, and that's why you can't just mask the symptoms.
Right.
You got to get to the root cause.
Find those solutions.
Exactly.
So let's talk solutions. Right. What are some things athletes can do to like protect those knees and prevent those problems from even popping up in the first place?
Well, it all starts with a good warm-up.
Okay.
And I don't mean a quick stretch. We're talking a proper, gradual warm-up that gets your muscles and joints ready for what's coming.
So, I mean, I know warm-ups are good practice,
Right.
but what's the science behind it,
Think of it like this. Your muscles and joints, they're like a cold engine. You got to warm them up before you go full throttle, right?
Okay, yeah.
So a good warm-up, it increases blood flow, lubricates those joints, gets the muscles around the knee activated, and that makes them so much more resilient to stress.
All right, so we're priming those knees.
You got it.
So give me some examples. What are some warm-up exercises that athletes can do?
So leg swings are a great place to start.
Okay,
Just swing your leg forward, backwards, side to side.
got it. Nice and easy.
It loosens up the hips and knees without putting too much stress on them.
Perfect.
And then you've got your high knees, another classic.
Oh.
It's basically marching or jogging in place while you bring those knees up high.
Okay.
Gets the blood pumping, engages the muscles in the front of your thighs, and those are key for stability.
Yeah, those are the quads, right?
You got it.
All right, so we've got those legs fired up.
Yes.
Warm-up is done.
Yeah.
What's next? What about building those knee-saving muscles?
So once those muscles are warm and ready to go, we got to get into strength training.
Okay.
And not just any strength training. We're talking about targeting the muscles that directly support that knee joint.
Okay, so I'm guessing we're talking quads, hamstrings, glutes, maybe even calves.
You got it. Those muscles, they're like your knee's support system.
Right, like a team.
Yeah. Strong quads and hamstrings help control the kneecap,
Oh, okay.
and that reduces stress on those ligaments.
Makes sense. Give me some exercises. I want to build up those knee muscles.
So step-ups are a fantastic way to work multiple muscle groups at once.
Oh, yeah.
You're stepping up onto a box, a platform, whatever you've got. Your quads are lifting you up. Glutes are stabilizing your hips.
Got it. So it's like a functional movement, something we actually do in real life. Just a little more oomph.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you've got single leg squats.
Oh, those sound tough.
They can be challenging, but they're so good for strength and balance.
Okay.
By working one leg at a time, you're really forcing your body to stabilize, control the movement.
Right.
And that strengthens those muscles around the knee and improves your overall balance.
Okay. Challenge accepted. Single leg squats.
All right.
What about the back of the legs, though? The hamstrings. Any good exercises for those?
Yeah, hamstring curls are a classic for a reason.
Okay.
You can use resistance bands, gym equipment, whatever you have access to.
Right.
Just focus on controlled movements and really squeezing those hamstrings at the top of each rep.
Okay, so we've warmed up, we've strengthened.
Mm-hmm.
What's next in this journey to, like, bulletproof our knees?
Flexibility.
Uh-huh.
Can't forget about flexibility.
That's true. Stretching. It's so important, and I will admit, sometimes I forget.
Yeah.
Why is it so crucial for our knees, though?
Well, when you've got tight muscles,
Yeah.
they can really restrict your range of motion.
Oh, okay.
And that puts extra stress on your joints. Like imagine if your hamstrings are super tight.
Uh-huh.
They're going to pull on your pelvis, which can then mess with your knee alignment.
Ah, so it throws off the whole balance of the leg?
Exactly. And that can lead to pain, increase your risk of injury. So make sure you're stretching, especially after those workouts.
Okay, so what are some good stretches that athletes should be doing?
One of my go-tos is the seated hamstring stretch. You know that one?
Oh, yeah, the classic.
Just sit down, one leg extended, reach for your toes. It's a classic for a reason.
There's, gym class flashbacks.
Right.
What about the quads, though? Because those can get pretty tight, too.
They can, yeah. For those, you can try a standing quad stretch.
Okay.
Grab your foot, gently pull it towards your glutes, hold it for about 30 seconds.
All right, feel that stretch.
Exactly.
So we've got warm-up, we've got strengthening, we've got stretching.
Yep.
Pretty comprehensive, right?
Almost. We need to talk about recovery.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Even with the best workout routine, sometimes those knees need a break.
True, especially if you're already dealing with some pain.
Exactly. And that's where low-impact exercises come in.
All right, what are those?
So these are perfect for letting you stay active, condition your body,
Okay.
but without putting too much stress on those joints.
So, examples.
Swimming is amazing.
Ooh, yeah.
The water supports your weight. You can move freely without that impact.
Sounds refreshing.
It is.
Like a little vacation for the joints.
Exactly. And if swimming's not your thing, the elliptical is another great option.
Okay, yeah, the elliptical.
It's like running, but smoother, gentler on those knees.
Okay, so we've got warm-up, strengthening, flexibility, and now even some low-impact options
Yeah.
for recovery. Very nice.
But remember how we talked about different sports? They can put different demands on your knees.
That's true. Like a runner's knees are going through different stuff than a basketball player.
Exactly. So let's get into some sport-specific advice.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, let's start with runners. What do you think is key for them?
Well, runners, they're doing a lot of, running.
Right.
So I'm going to guess hip strength is important.
It is super important. Strong hips, they help stabilize the pelvis, which then helps your knee alignment.
Oh, okay.
And that can really help with things like runner's knee or IT band syndrome.
So it really is all connected.
It is. And speaking of that IT band,
Yeah.
runners tend to get tightness there.
Right.
So foam rolling the IT band, doing exercises like clamshells can be really helpful.
Ah, yes, the foam roller love-hate relationship.
Right.
So what about basketball players? They're doing a lot of, explosive movements, right?
They are. A lot of lateral movement.
Yeah, quick cuts, jumping.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So building that lateral strength and stability is key. Things like side lunges, lateral bounds, those are your friends.
I can just imagine those being so helpful for dodging opponents.
Oh, absolutely. It's like building that super stable base for all those quick movements.
Yeah, makes sense.
So now let's shift gears to soccer players. What do you think is crucial for them?
Well, soccer's got a lot of running, kicking, pivoting,
Yeah.
often on uneven surfaces.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to go with balance and agility being high on the list.
You got it. They need that exceptional balance and control to navigate all those movements.
Right, and prevent those knee injuries.
Absolutely. So what kind of exercises can help them build that solid foundation?
What do you think?
Single leg exercises are fantastic for balance and stability.
Okay.
Things like single leg Romanian deadlifts.
Right.
Those challenge your balance while strengthening your hamstrings, glutes, even your core.
Right. It's all about that core.
It is. And what about those agility ladder drills you see them do?
Oh, those look fun.
They are, and they're super helpful. They work on foot speed, coordination, reaction time.
Wow.
So they can make those quick cuts and turns without putting so much stress on their knees.
All right. So we have covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've gone from understanding the causes of knee pain
Yeah.
to exploring all these exercises
Right.
tailored to different sports. It's amazing how much athletes can do to keep their knees healthy.
It is. And remember, it's not just about avoiding pain.
Right.
It's about optimizing your performance. Healthy knees, they're the foundation for success, no matter what you play.
That's a great point. So what's the big takeaway here? What's the one thing our listeners should remember?
Be proactive. Don't wait until you're sidelined with an injury to start taking care of your knees.
Right.
Get those strengthening, flexibility, recovery exercises in your routine
Okay.
and adjust them based on what you're doing, your sport, your activity level.
Words to live by. And I want to thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. This has been a really insightful deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah, it could make a huge difference. Prevent those injuries,
Absolutely.
improve your agility, boost your game. It's exciting to think about.
It is. And, even those small changes can make a big difference over time.
It's all about consistency.
It is.
So before we wrap up, I do have one more question for you.
Okay.
What if someone's already dealing with knee pain? Is it too late for them?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And the good news is it's never too late to start taking care of your knees.
Okay, good.
But the first step is figuring out what's causing that pain.
Right.
So that might involve seeing a doctor, maybe a physical therapist.
Okay. Get proper diagnosis.
Exactly. You got to do a little detective work.
Right. Find the root of the problem.
And once you know what you're dealing with,
Uh-huh.
you can create a plan to address it.
Okay.
So that might involve rest, ice, compression, elevation.
Okay, the Rice method.
Exactly. Or maybe even physical therapy.
So even if you're already in pain, there's still hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And exercise can still be a part of the solution.
Okay, that's good to know.
Even if you're injured, the key is to start slow.
Yeah.
Gradually increase the intensity, listen to your body, don't push through pain.
Makes sense. Find that balance.
Exactly. And, working with a physical therapist or another qualified professional
Yeah.
can make a huge difference.
They can guide you.
They can assess your movement patterns, see where your weaknesses are, and then create a program that's safe and effective for you.
So it's about finding the right support.
It is. Remember, you don't have to go through this alone.
Very true.
There are people who can help.
This has been such a great deep dive. We've learned so much
We have.
from knee anatomy to all of these exercises.
It's amazing.
And it all comes back to that proactive approach.
It does. Taking care of your knees, it's an investment in your athletic future.
Will said. A huge thank you to our expert for joining us today and sharing your knowledge.
My pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into knee pain exercises for athletes.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Remember, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, these tips can make a real difference.
They can.
So start small, stay consistent, listen to your body, and never underestimate the power of taking care of your knees.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep diving deep and stay curious.